Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Matt from Pinnacle Chiropractic, your local pediatric, prenatal, and family chiropractic office here in the Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota, Bradenton, Florida area. And in today's video, we're going to talk all about sensory overload. So, in a world filled with constant stimulation, endless sensory experiences, imagine what this feels like if every sound or every touch or every smell becomes amplified or intensified, which is basically keeping you not just on edge, but feeling overwhelmed. So, this is what life is like for children or a person, even. It could be an adult as well, struggling with sensory overload. It's where the outside our senses are basically overwhelmed from the outside influences or stimulation around it. And it's exactly why your child might be having or experiencing things like constant meltdowns or tantrums, even anxiety, whenever you go to certain places where there's a lot of stimulation. So that could be like going to the grocery store, a busy restaurant, could be going to Disney World, or even for some kids, it's even just making it through a school day with all of that stimulation. So in this video, we're going to, like I said, not just learn about what sensory overload is, but most importantly, talk about the root causes of it and what action steps and strategies you can put into play to help calm your child's nervous system and to have more good days than bad days when it comes to your child's processing challenges or sensory challenges. So, this is really specifically for those parents that have already tried a lot of different things to help with the sensory overload with their child. So, maybe you've tried OT or maybe sensory play or other daily modifications to try to help calm your child's sensory overload and improve the day to day quality of their life. But maybe you've tried all of these different things and they're still struggling more than you'd like. You feel like they could still do a better job. And this video is for you parents that have tried a lot of those things, but it's also for those parents that maybe you're just finding out that your child is more sensory overloaded in certain environments or situations. So we really invite you to really share this with any friends or family members if they have a child or they themselves are experiencing that sensory overload. So, with sensory challenges, one of my favorite stories that I like to go back to is the story of Avely. So, this is Miss Jen, our office manager's daughter, and they came into our office about 6 years ago. And at that time, Avely was experiencing that sensory overload. They were experiencing sensory overload at school, at certain restaurants or places. A lot of the times when they would go to the grocery store or these certain stores, Avely would become sensory overloaded. They couldn't go into restrooms that had the automatic flushing toilets or the automatic hand dryers because that noise was way too much stimulation for her nervous system. And then school was often a stimulation for her as well. She could do really well at holding it together during school, but as soon as they got home in that car line, that's when she would experience these big meltdowns, these big tantrums, or letting out all that emotion out that she tried so hard and did so well of holding in while she was at school. So within a few months of our care, Avely was functioning at a totally different level, and that's where I actually received a email from Miss Jen, and she told me what a gift this was. They were able to go on their first family vacation without Avely being sensory overloaded. They were in a new environment and a new place, a new bed, something that was unfamiliar to her, and she was able to handle it completely different than the way she handled it in the past. So, with sensory challenges and sensory overload, this is one of my favorite things to take care of in our office because of that personal connection. Obviously, with Avely's results, that was what really prompted Jen to come on board and really join our team because she saw firsthand what the differences our care made for her. So, we're going to get into some of the science and some of those things next with this video. It's some of the meat and potatoes. So, sensory overwhelm really refers to the state of being overwhelmed by sensory stimuli where the brain struggles to process and integrate incoming sensory information effectively, and therefore it quickly shifts into a state of sympathetic fight or flight overdrive and constant stress mode. So some common triggers or some common symptoms of this sensory overwhelm are loud noises, crowded spaces, bright lights, strong smells, food textures, clothing, different clothings that have seams or tags, or even unexpected touch. All of these things can trigger an excessive sympathetic response, or that fight or flight response, which then leads to things like anxiety, irritability, tantrums, meltdowns, difficulty with concentrating, and physical emotional distress. So families whose children struggle with sensory overwhelm have troubles going to different places within the community. So in a day-to-day life, could be the grocery store, a busy restaurant, taking vacations to busy places, as well as challenges with things such as family get-togethers or a lot of people around, play dates, or even day-to-day school and social functions. So some of the long-term concerns are, because sensory overload and sensory challenges overall, they often limit a child's ability to socially engage or interact or even concentrate or participate in school. It can really interfere with their overall brain and neurological development and leave them at an increased risk for things like ADHD, anxiety, and learning challenges later in life. So, sensory overwhelm is often seen in individuals with sensory processing disorders, things like autism, ADHD, or sensory processing disorder. And most parents, they try to help their child by switching to sensory friendly clothings and foods, providing sensory breaks and calm and quiet environments, and avoiding loud and busy places. But that can significantly limit the overall quality of life for the family because they're having to make all of these modifications. It's similar to Avery's story. So, while most families will first be recommended to see an OT or another specialist through the early intervention or even the school system, a lot of parents continue to report incredible quality of life improvements with our type of chiropractic care, that neurologically focused chiropractic care. So, this care is an option for children struggling with that sensory overwhelm or overload, and for those parents that really want to address this from a root cause perspective. Our whole goal of our care is really calming that overstimulated sympathetic fight or flight response and stimulating or activating the parasympathetic mode, which is more that rest, relaxation, regulation mode of the nervous system. So many studies have shown children struggling with sensory overload and sensory processing disorder can have an underactive or suppressed vagus nerve. If you do a lot of research on the vagus nerve and sensory processing disorder, you'll find that vagus nerve is underactive or it's suppressed. It's lacking that appropriate tone and function to help the child stay calm and better regulated in those busy and noisy environments. So, our office, one of the cool things, because we are neurologically focused, we have technology that measures that sensory processing in that vagus nerve and that nervous system. So we're able to look at inflammation within the nervous system. We're able to look at muscular tension, which is like stored stress. And then we're also able to measure that autonomic nervous system to see if that child's adapting to their stress load as well as they should be. So parents, if you're out there and you're wondering if this could be a good option for you and you're tired of just modifying your child's lifestyle by avoiding those busy places or the grocery store or different environments for your child, and you really want to get down to the root cause, I recommend checking out our website. Head to our website, going to pinnaclebradenton.com, and learning more about sensory overload, sensory processing disorder, and the insight scans, or those scans that we utilize. And so if you found this video helpful and useful, we really recommend commenting, liking, sharing it with any friends or family members that could benefit from this information. So, like I said, this is really one of our favorite types of cases to take care of. We have a ton of success with sensory overwhelm and sensory processing disorder cases in our office. So we're going to continue to pump out educational content like this, guys, and continue to follow our social media pages, our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube pages, is where we're going to continue to bring you guys content similar to this. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, I'm Dr. Matt, and be well.